To have passion in life is everything.
What's your Everest?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
that 200-inch buck?
They just look so impressive when they're wide.
Especially running away.
Welcome to this week's episode of Eastmans Elevated.
It's like a think tank for outdoor activity.
Sounds exactly like my hunting. Just always thinking about it, always trying to evolve it and make it better.
Here's your host, Barney.
Hey, what's happening, guys? Got a brand new Eastmans Elevated for you. So this week, or this episode's podcast, is a solo episode. So I get on the mic and kind of reflect back at 2017 hunts and look into the future, planning for 2018. I kind of break down my hunting skill in every different facet and where I feel like I can improve, and I talk about discipline and putting in the work and the preparation to be successful in this upcoming year. I just love working hard towards my goals, and then to see it come to fruition, during season, it just means the world to me. I have such a passion for this Western hunting, and I love to share that. And so that's what today is. I just get on the mic, and it's about an hour-long therapy session of me explaining, what my ambitions are for the next year. So hopefully you guys enjoy today's show. Our sponsor is Taito Knives. So Taito is a new sponsor for the Eastmans Elevated podcast, but they are not a new product. I've been using their knives now for a couple years. They're replaceable blade, ultra lightweight knives. So they're one-piece steel construction, and then the blades you can replace on there, and they're the razor sharp 60XT, I believe they're called, blade knives. They're just super sharp. They're surgically sharp. They've absolutely changed the game for me. I can break down an entire animal with a blade, and that's skinning, quartering, that's deboning, pulling back straps, tenderloins. Heck, I can even take the head off with a razor sharp knife. And I think they make you safer. You don't have to force your blade anymore. You just let the razor do the cutting. I really like their design in that it's a single handle construction. It's not a breakdown. You'd never want to break down one of those knives onto your fingers, and so this is a safe way to go about it. Change the blades. It's also really easy to clean. It doesn't have any cracks and crevices for blood and meat and hair to get caught in, so it cleans up really easy. They also will tie a 550 cord around the handle, which makes for a really good grip on that knife. And I've also used that 550 cord in a pinch before. I shot a deer way back in, and I didn't have any 550 cord with me, and I was trying to pack the entire thing out with the head, and I couldn't really get the head situated the way I wanted to, and so I used some of that 550 cord, able to tie it down and then put it back on the knife. So anyways, Taito is just building some great knives. Can't say enough good things about them, so thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. Over there at Eastman's, we just recorded those good episodes, and so I'm releasing those now. We did Roger Sellner's last week, which is just a really fun episode to sit down with him. And then we did Guy Eastman's I released just today as I'm finishing up this podcast. And we're going to release this one as a bonus episode. Guy is just so knowledgeable about Western hunting, and we kind of break down states and current trends and just where to apply for the best units for the best populations and the biggest animals. And so that was just a great episode. So that's released now. You can find that. And I got some great ones coming up, and then some good guests that I'm lining up for the future. So we're just going to keep this thing rolling. Gosh, that's about all I have. Let's get this thing rolling. So Eastman's Elevated solo episode. Here we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? Sitting down to record a solo podcast here. Getting ready to leave on my Arizona hunt, last hunt of the year, or first hunt of 2018, either way you look at it. But for me, it's kind of like my last hunt of the year, my last hurrah. And after that, I got about a 3-month break before spring bear season, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Dan's gonna show up on Monday, and then we've got, 24-hour drive down there if the roads are good. If not, could be a 2-man bobsled for 30 hours or so going down there on slick roads. But either way, we're going to make it down there and just go immerse ourselves in that desert landscape and get hunting for those coos deer. It's just what I live for, these adventure bow hunts in different places for different species and testing my skills. I love this bow hunting. It's just this ever-evolving learning curve that you never quite reach the top of. There's always improvements to make, and you can always be better, you can always be tougher, but just drives me to be a better person and a better hunter, and it's just what I absolutely love to do. And so as we're finishing out the year here, it's time to reflect, and it's time to get motivation for next year and think about the hunts I want to do and the goals I want to achieve, and then how I'm going to get there and how I'm going to achieve those goals. And so, it's kind of on the podcast, I use these solo ones kind of as therapy. I just tell you guys, what I want to achieve and how I'm going to get there, and it holds me accountable, saying it out loud, and it's tough for me to tell someone else what they have to do to be successful. It's almost like this self-reflection and what I need to do to be successful, and my path to it, and everybody's path's a little bit different, but hopefully it gets you guys some motivation to get out there on the trails and start working hard towards your goals of next season. The opportunity is out there. There's just some great critters on public land, and it just tests you to your absolute limits, physically and mentally. These bow hunts in extreme backcountry, they test you as a human, and so I think that's why I like them so much. And it's I'm always looking how I can improve, and whether it's this podcast, which I love this platform. This is such a cool deal for me, and to have you guys listen in every week and have these guests on here, and I'm just so humbled, and I just I say this, I swear, on every podcast, but I just want to improve at the podcast game as well, and improve at my conversation, and improve it on my vocab. And I get tons of positive comments, which just drives me to get you guys good information, that you guys are enjoying the podcast. And I also get some negative ones too. And the negative ones, some are easy to ignore, and I don't get a whole lot of them. Most guys are pretty supportive, and we have such a good hunting community. But then I get some negative ones, and I think anytime you get bigger, you have to deal with some negativity. And what hurts so bad is when it's the truth. When you get negative comments and they absolutely nail you. Like, gosh, I had this one that said, "Yeah, you say too awesome," and it nailed me to a T. And so with that, you can some of it you take with a grain of salt, and then some of it you take and say, that is a legit concern, or that is a legit gripe, and gosh, that's something I need to improve at. So anyways, just trying to improve at everything in life, whether it's being a family man, being a husband, a father, whether it's at work on the construction job, the outdoor industry with the writing and the photography and the podcast, and then some of this film work that I've been able to get into. I just want to get better at it and improve at it, and that all, the driving force behind that is to be a better bow hunter. I mean, I absolutely love trying to improve my skills and test my limits, and I just come back more fulfilled, and it just feels like I'm leading a meaningful life for me. I think everybody has to find their passion in life and what they really enjoy, and for me, there's no doubt about it. It's extreme bow hunting. So looking towards next season, and I just you kind of evaluate yourself and see where you can improve. And so there's so many facets that go into being a good bow hunter, and being able to go to different places and be able to be successful. And so anyways, I'm looking forward to it. Been working hard here. I've been getting in my trail runs. People ask what I do for my workouts to stay in shape, and I'm trail running constantly. I've told you guys that. I probably trail run, and it depends on the season too. I kind of ramp up as season gets closer throughout the summer months, and those are the best months to be on the trails. But it's year-round fitness for me. Unless it's the heart of bow season, that's the only time that I'm not running, because I'm getting a lot of mountain miles in and backpacking miles in. But other than that, I am constantly on these trails working, and I love it. It sharpens me mentally too. It really helps my mental strength to be out on those trails. I mean, just getting out on those trails day in, day out. And I'd say right now I'm running probably, 5 days a week. I'm probably taking a couple days off. And I used to have a gym membership, and I like going to the gym. They make it easy and convenient for you. It's warm and heated. They got all the machines in there, and so you can go in every day, and it's part of building these positive habits, these positive pathways. And you're building habits in your life no matter what you're doing, whether they're bad habits or good habits. But it's just setting out to make changes, and in, day out, creating these positive pathways, making yourself work out, and you start building these positive habits, and then it just becomes a way of life. And that's how trail running for me has been. So I used to go into the gym quite a bit and have a gym membership, and then I started to look at it and go, this is too easy for me. I need to be outside, and I need to suffer more. It seems like the more I suffer, the more I endure, the more I put myself through these mental struggles, just the tougher mentally I get, the harder I'm able to push when I'm on these tough hunts, the more I'm able to keep my drive and determination. And so, I really use it to sharpen me mentally as much as I use it to sharpen me physically. But I would say, the physical stuff, I love to trail run, and for me, it's not about the miles, it's more about the elevation. I love gaining elevation. And then too, it's, since I got away from this gym and I get outside, and I've always done that all spring and summer long, but I used to get a membership just for the winter time, for when it was cold, and it made it convenient for me. And I did like that, but then, like I say, it was just too easy for me. Like, I want to get outside in the cold. Like today, it's 10 degrees and north wind and snow blowing, and there's over a foot of snow laying on the grounds. And yeah, I'll be outside running with my dog here before too long, and get in a few miles and some good elevation, and get my heart rate up. And again, it's just that mental strength, that just making myself get out there. And then once I'm out there, to keep going and keep pushing hard. And when you get, miles and miles underneath you, and you're tired and you don't want to keep going, and you make yourself keep going, like you learn, you've got another gear, you can keep pushing. And so I trail run a bunch. Like I say, I'm probably 5 days a week now, and that'll ramp up to 6-7 days a week, as we get into summer and get closer to these hunts. Winter miles are kind of down a little bit. I probably do 3 to 6 a day, and anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet of elevation. One place I really need to improve, or I do well as I get into summer months, but I need to be getting these long runs in as well. And it's this tough balance for me. I used to do a lot of marathons and ultra marathons, and these marathons on those roads, they just take a beating on me, beating up my knees and my lower back, and I just felt like it was good for me to push to those long distances, but it's also putting wear and tear on myself. And so I started to run trails exclusively. And so I hardly run a road anymore. They're all trails or off trails. I got permission down below my house here, down in these coulees and canyons, from the rancher that owns it, that he lets me run down there. And so I love just taking off down there through the canyons and running. And part of that too is just getting to the woods and just being comfortable in the woods, having that be my second home, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So for me, trail running works really good. We're all different, and we all find things that we enjoy and excel at. And I'm the weights is a tough one for me. I don't, at different times in my life I've lifted a lot of weights, but for me now, it's this trail running really helps my core. And then I try to do weight training just when I have free just when I have free time. And so I would say I probably lift 3-4 times a week or so. And when I do lifts, I'm not going into the gym anymore. And so I just got this kettlebell, and I've got my pull-up bar, and I do a lot of core exercises. And then I really focus a lot on my back. My back is my weak point. I've pulled it out quite a few times being young and working in construction. And so I talked about it before, but it's really my weakness. I had another incident like a couple months ago where I tried to lift this metal from the lumberyard. There wasn't anybody out in the yard. I tried to lift it for myself, pulled my lower back out, and took me a little while to recover, and then just trying to strengthen it so I just don't pull it out anymore. And then that flexibility. I've told you guys my yoga or my man stretches I do, but I stretch constantly. I think flexibility is such a huge part of overall fitness. You can work on I work on my endurance through my running, and my strength through weight training and pull-ups and things of that nature. Recently, my youngest daughter, she is nuts. She's got that internal never lose attitude. It's just so fun to see. And my oldest daughter has it too, but my youngest daughter, she is nuts. And so we've been doing pull-up competitions, and we do them, about every night here lately. And so we start doing pull-ups, and we don't do one set as many as we can do. I mean, we do that sometimes, but she's really good at just continually pumping out those pull-ups. So I think, I can hardly beat her now. She's going to turn... she's going to turn 10. We got to get ages right. These kids, they just keep aging and keep getting more birthdays underneath them, and we're right in the birthday zone for our two kids. My oldest daughter, Taylor's birthday is in November, and then Katie's is coming up in January. But man, oh man, for a little girl, she can just push herself to keep doing pull-ups. And so we do this, how many can we do in a night? And we kind of just keep doing them throughout the night. And she is nuts. She just will not allow herself to lose. And I think the one night we did over 80 pull-ups, and she still beat me. Last night she beat me again, and we were trying to do pull-ups before she left on a movie, and I just can't keep up with her. She just keeps hopping up on that bar and pumping them out. I try to do them in like 5 sets. So I'll do 5 pull-ups, take a little break, 5 pull-ups. And she just keeps doing those things. But she's got that mental strength, that little mental edge of competition or whatever it is, she's got it. And she does some trail runs with me, and pretty amazing for just a little girl. But yeah, I'm so proud of her. But that's the edge I want to have too, is just always having another gear and always wanting to push hard. So I do my weight training, really focus on my back, flexibility wise, my man stretches or my yoga. I've just kind of come up with my own routines. My wife's done a lot of yoga, and so she helps me out. And then I just find what works for me. And it's funny, like you can stretch, but the more you do it, the more you start to really feel the muscles it's stretching and doing these stretches correctly. And doing it has really helped me out. And flexibility, us as guys, we just start to lose our flexibility as we start to age. And so I really work hard at that. I do a lot of stretching in the steamer after my muscles have got warmed up. I'm spoiled rotten. I've got a steamer in my house that I put in. I built this house a couple years ago, and we looked at things, and I just love that steam, the benefit of it, sitting in the heat in there and sweating, and then, like you say, it warms up your muscles, and we just use that steamer nonstop. So I am spoiled that I've got a steamer right in my house, but I stretch a lot with that, with my muscles warmed up. And I'd say the main staple of mine is my trail running. And the one place where I need to start mixing in these longer trail runs on the weekends. And these longer ones, you just learn a lot about yourself. And I don't want to put that beating on my knees at all, but it seems like your body adapts to the stress you put on it. And so, I've been trail running since I was 20 years old, and I've never had any knee issues. Never had any joint pain. Like I just, my body does really well. The only, like I mentioned before, those marathons on the roads, my knees would get pretty beat up. Like after I do those, I could hardly walk that day, and then the next day I'd be pretty beat up in my knees. But I've never had any problems that have hung on my knees. I had an IT band injury one time, and IT band's on the outside of your knee, and every time you bend your knee, you get this sharp pain. So stairs really hurt. So that's the only real injury that I've had to recover from, and it took me like 3 months to recover. And my problem is that every time I'd start feeling better, I'd go for a run. I'd give it 2-3 weeks, and like, oh God, I got to be out on the trails. And I'd get out on a run, and I'd injure it again. And so I could just never get it recovered. But after I finally gave it enough rest, I was able to recover, and it's better than it's ever been. I haven't had any IT issues. Gosh, that's had to be 5 or more years ago. But your body adapts to the stress you put on it. They say your bone density improves from running. I think you build muscles around your joints that really help stabilize your joints. Excuse me. And so trail running's just been really good for me. And so I really like it. It just seems to be the perfect fit for me. I do need to mix in like backpacking with that, and so I'll do that on my scouting trips, and it just gets your back used to carrying that backpack. And I've got a little runner's pack that I carry with me, but it just puts that exertion, or it puts that you get in running, like in an hour. You can put the amount of stress on your body that you'd have with 3 hours of backpacking. So it just seems like you get this condensed workout that, in 30 minutes to an hour of trail running, I can get this extreme exertion on my body and get this workout in, and then be back to my family or back to work or whatever I got to do. And so it just fits right for me, but everybody's different. I think it's just important to get cardio in, to get your strength training in, and then trying to develop your mental toughness. And like I say, we're all different in the exercise that we find that we like, that fits us. But whatever it is, it's just being driven, and it's making yourself do it. It's building these positive habits and making it a way of life. And for me, being in this good shape, or this runner's shape, it just gives me an edge in the mountains. I just know that I have another gear. I know wherever I see an animal, I can make it there. I can get there. I can make it back to camp. I can trust my legs, because I've done hundreds of thousands of miles in the mountains on these trails. I've done, thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of feet in elevation. Like I know my body's capable of it. I know I can push it. I know I've got that other gear, and it gives me incredible confidence in the mountains and on these tough hunts. Is just knowing that I'm in this physical shape, that I don't have to, that I know my body will stand up to whatever my mind puts it through. And so that's a big part of my game. So that's what I'm doing. Like I say, 3 to 6 miles in the wintertime right now, and I'm doing it 5 days a week, and I'll just keep ramping that up. I need to get in these longer runs on the weekends. I need to take Saturday, and I need to start getting some of these 10 plus in, and all on the weekends as it gets into summertime, and really right now as I need to get these longer ones in. But on these longer ones, I'll do 10 plus miles, 12 miles, 15 miles, and again, these are miles in the mountains. So with this 12 miles, I may gain 3,000 feet of elevation, and a lot of times, I just pick cool spots I'd like to explore too. I live where I hunt elk a lot and things. And so I'll get on these different trails and climb these different peaks and go to these spots that I'm interested in and go run back there. And I can get back there in a shorter amount of time going with this less weight. And so I'll go explore these places. And, I always like the Sphinx is this iconic mountain that we have here that sits at like 11,800 feet. And I love to climb that every summer. And I'll run up there. And it's got to be like about a 20-mile round trip, and then I think it's 5,000 feet of elevation gain, 6,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. So it's a really good one for me. So I'll start hitting that, and and then also along with that is just my diet too. And this is one place where I can improve as well. I do a lot of the low carb diet, the ketogenic diet, and I'm not super strict. It's just putting. I don't like to put a bunch of sugar in my body, and I don't like to put a bunch of processed foods in my body. I just like it to be real food, and I don't really restrict my vegetables or my fruit. But I do eat a low carb diet. My body just does good on it. And switching to this ketonic state is your. So ketogenic is so your body burns sugar the fastest, and I'm not an expert on this by any means. This is just what works for me, and your body burns sugar the fastest, and then it just seems like if I can be on a ketogenic or a low carb diet, my body transfers over to burning its fats really easily, and what that means is like on these long runs where I'm doing 12, 15 miles, I'm going to run out of fuel in my body. I'm going to run out of sugar, and my body's got to transfer over and start burning fats. If your body's used to making this transition, it makes it easier, and you're not getting hunger pains, and you're not getting an energy lull, and your body just runs effectively and smoothly and transfers over to burning these fats really well. And so I do a lot of fasting, like in my younger years. I was told, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and have your breakfast, and that fuels you for the day. And as I started reading and researching on ketogenic, like I found out that, you don't have to eat breakfast every day. Fasting for this breakfast and fasting for amounts of time, it makes your body transfer over to burning fats, which makes it easier for your body to make that transition. And so I just really do good on a low carb or a ketogenic diet, and then this intermittent fasting. Where me and my wife have been doing a day a week where we do a 24-hour fast, where I don't eat all day and then I go to dinner. And I see a little bit of dip in my energy, but the more I do it, the better I get at it. But skipping breakfast and going on a big trail run and not eating anything besides what I ate the night before, it forces my body to transfer over to burning these fats. And so it just makes the transition really smooth. And so I've had really good luck with it. Where I need to improve on my diet is I'm 37 now and getting to be 38, which is still a real young man. I feel like I'm in my prime, but I can feel my body, my body wants to be fat. In the wintertime, I'll put on 5 pounds or so, and it just seems like you have to work harder the older you get too. And so, and I really need to. I eat really well throughout the day, and I don't eat much processed stuff. My weakness is at night, like after dinner. I tell my wife it's the sugar monster. Like I just have these cravings for sugar and like sweet stuff. And what works really well is like frozen fruit is good for me, or frozen grapes. But lately we've had a bunch of Christmas candy in the house and treats and cookies, and so the sugar monster comes out at night, and that's what really kills me in my diet. And so I have a skinny body type, and I've done really well controlling my weight over the years. I'm not overweight by any stretch of the imagination, but I see 5 pounds extra on me that I could lose, that I need to lose. And so I need to get control of this damn sugar monster at night. And it's all about discipline. It's eating a disciplined diet, and also, you don't want to be crazy. You want to enjoy food and enjoy eating, and be able to give yourself a break now and again, and be able to eat some sweet stuff. But again, it's building these habits. And when I let the sugar monster come out night after night, like that's building a bad habit. I need to build a better habit. So that's one place where I need to improve. And then, like I say, I need to get these 5 pounds off me, just so I'm ready to go for season. And you think 5 pounds, well, that's not a big deal. You still, nobody can see it. I can't, I can hardly see it, like, unless I pinch my belly or something like that. But these 5 extra pounds, like, it makes a difference when you're backpacking. I think what a huge difference 5 pounds makes in my backpack, and I'm carrying that on my frame, and it's weight that I can get rid of and lose, and just make myself more effective in the mountains. And it's tough. We all have different body types, and I think, what's the perfect body type for the mountains? I'm not sure. I see a lot of skinny guys that are built for endurance that do really well. And I think it's a mix. I think it's having muscle on your frame, and that muscle is able to carry you on those uphills and downhills and carry your pack really well. And then you got to teach those muscles endurance. And how I teach those muscles endurance is like these long runs, these trail runs, these miles after miles, these climbs, and that's how I teach these muscles endurance. But it's a good mix, but we're all different. So, I mean, I think it's just taking a look at yourself and seeing what works for you and what works for your body and trying to go that route. So for me, I need to get rid of the sugar monster at night, dump about 5 pounds or so, and just be disciplined and keep getting my workouts in. Really focus on my back and my flexibility when I'm lifting my weights. I do a lot of the kettlebell workouts. Kettlebell workouts, they just engage your total body and moving that weight, and it just seems to work for me. I really like it. A lot of core exercises, and then my pull-up competitions. See if I can't beat this younger daughter of mine. She's just killing me lately. I used to make her do half as many as me, so like if I did 10 and she did 5, we'd be tied. And now she's just pull up to me, which is just wild. So I need to work on my pull-up game so I can beat my 10-year-old daughter. How's that for motivation? But that's kind of where I sit, and mentally, for the next year, I want to sharpen myself mentally, and I part of it, I think, is setting these goals. I love to bow hunt, and I love bow hunting critters, but I want to set these higher goals for myself and these tougher goals for myself. And I've killed some big bulls, but it's been a few years. I've killed a 6-point every year for the last, I can't even remember how many years, but I'd say the last 5 or 6 years, they're more of that 300 to 320 class, which is a great 6-point bull. Don't get me wrong. I love hunting those, but I just want to set my goal a little bit higher. I want to get to, back up to that 350 class bull. And I know it's just inches, and I'm, it isn't all about the trophy. It's about getting out, bow hunting, testing your skills. But, you put these goals on yourself that to harvest a bigger, more mature animal, and it's going to be a tougher challenge. You don't see as many 350 bulls as you see 320 bulls. And so it's going to take more time, more commitment, more effort, being sharper with my skills on my stalking and on my shots. I don't have a chance to, I can't mess up as much. I'm not going to get that many opportunities at those bigger bulls. And so I just want to set these higher standards because I know I'm capable of it. And the harder it is, the better it feels when you accomplish it. And I'm ready for it. So I want to kill a bigger bull next year. And I think for me, for hunting elk, I need to focus on this a little bit more because I love hunting muley so much, and I hunt muley so much in all these different places. And a lot of times I burn all my time and then I'm weekend warrior for elk, but I really want to put a lot of effort into elk season this year and killing a good bull. And I've been hunting this spot that, there's a lot of elk in there and a lot of good bulls in there, but they're high pressure. They're really on high alert, and there's a lot of hunting pressure in there. And I've done well in there killing some good 6-point bulls, but I haven't killed the big mature ones, and that's the reason I started hunting this unit. And so I think I need a change. We did really good in the wilderness here in my local valley, and I've killed some great bulls in my local valley, and I enjoy hunting this wilderness. I enjoy, there's always the challenge of grizzly bears, and I enjoy the extreme miles and the solitude and the low pressure elk. And so I really enjoy hunting the wilderness. And then also I just want to try some different elk spots. I may hunt a different state next year. I saw a lot of elk in Idaho in there hunting in some good bulls. So I may start hunting elk in multiple different states. And then, definitely here in my home state of Montana is doing great right now for elk populations and elk size. We're sticking a lot in the record books. And so I want to try out some different units, and I know I'll fail a little bit, and elk are either there or they're not, but I just want to have that mental strength to keep pushing and set my goals high, pass up on good 6-point bulls to look for that next level 6-point bull, because I know I'm capable. I know, and a big part of it too is having the time, and I've been able to structure my life around these adventure bow hunts, and with this podcast doing better, that helps as well to free up more time, and then just trying to structure my life to get this time to be able to challenge myself and go try to solve the puzzle and kill one of these next level bulls. So definitely going to put a lot of effort into that. Mule deer is always a driving force for me. I think it's my favorite species to hunt. Although, elk during the rut are as fun as it gets. I mean, I enjoy, I'm going to enjoy this coos hunt that I'm going on, and I'm going to be really into that. So it's whatever I'm hunting is my funnest, but I do love those mule deer. And I upped my late season game this year, killed a really nice heavy buck. That was one of my big goals for this past season. So I'm really proud at that. And just been able to unlock some secrets in this late season game. And I'm going to hunt Montana again late season next year. So good down there this year. Such epic hunting. And so going to hunt that. Maybe some Idaho late season. I know my buddy Dan went down and hunted Idaho late season and did well. And spots in the Wasatch, and then New Mexico. I've done good down there in the late season. So I've been able to up my late season game, which is good. But I love hunting mule deer in all seasons. But that early season in that high country, man, oh man, do I love that. It's just such extreme country, just being able to live up there, and then you're able to chase those next level bucks, and everywhere you look is like a painting, and it's just where goats and sheep would live, up in the rocks and the chutes and the alpine basins and extreme miles, extreme elevation. It just seems like those hunts are, they really are what drive me year round, is to be in good shape, and they're what tests me the most mentally, being in that extreme country and dealing with lightning storms and the remoteness of it, and then to be able to see those huge next level bucks that we all dream about, the stickers and kickers and inlines and 30 inches wide, and then in the velvet they're 40% heavier, and so they're just monsters. They're like a different species, and so I'm really going to put a lot of effort into that. And I did the Idaho over the counter last year. I didn't draw any good tags. And, part of that this season is I got to draw some good high country early season mule deer tags. And so, I'm sitting on points in different places, but I think I should be guaranteed for my Colorado spot this year. Huge backcountry wilderness. There's like 30 square miles without even a trail through it. And I got to hike through a hunting unit to get to this hunting unit. And I've never seen another hunter in there. And there's always just giant, mind-blowing bucks in there. And so I think I'm going to be able to hunt that spot this year, but I also need to have a backup plan. I haven't been putting in for second choice Colorado. And second choice Colorado doesn't burn your points. And there's so many great units there that I'm just not going to get caught without a high country muley tag this year. So I'm going to get a bit more aggressive with that second choice in Colorado, just in case I don't get my first choice, as this point creep kills us. You think you're going to draw a tag, and there's just more and more guys doing it, and it's getting more and more popular. So you have to, every year, like, you think it's going to take, X amount of points to draw, and it takes an extra point, so you end up not getting the tag. And so I'm just going to try to prepare for that and really put a lot of effort into a second choice there in Colorado. I'm really going to get more aggressive in Nevada. I've got some points there, and I've got a couple different units I've hunted in Nevada, and I keep applying for those, but they try to assign you 5 different choices for Nevada for your hunts before they throw out your application. So basically your number comes up, they try to assign you first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice, and then they throw your application out. So I also need to get more aggressive there and be willing to hunt some new areas and learn some new areas. And really, I love to explore. And so I just want to keep furthering my knowledge of high country mule deer. And then I want to chase some of these next level bucks. I've killed enough good bucks, but just like that goal on bulls, I want to put my goal on high country mule deer, and I want to harvest some of these 200-inch plus next level bucks. And it's just so tough. You get up there and it's tough hunt. You get to the, day 4, day 5, day 6, and pretty soon, 180-inch deer is a giant deer, and you see this 180-incher and you think, yeah, I'm gonna go make a play, and I'm extremely fortunate. I've been able to harvest quite a few of these bucks, but I just want to hold out, and this is part of this mental game of mine too. Is being able to hold out and go, no, I'm not going to stalk that buck. I'm going to wait. I'm going to put all my effort into this next level buck. And if he's not in this drainage and there's just, a 180-incher, 170-incher, I say that is a giant deer, but your goals and your expectations have to match your opportunity, and I've have opportunity at these next level bucks year after year, and so I can set my goals on these bucks. I've killed 3 bucks that go over 200 inches, and to harvest a buck like that just means the world to me. And I want to climb the mountain again. I want to do it again. And so whether it's Nevada or Colorado, or I'd like to hunt both of those states, and then also Utah. I have one of my biggest deer came from Utah, and so I want to get back in Utah and start doing some hunting in there again. So I may get a little bit more aggressive with my Utah application to be able to hunt there. Still gaining points in Wyoming, I'll apply there, but I'm just really going to focus on this early season game and all the way throughout. Whether it's the research that goes in to picking the unit, getting more aggressive with my applications, just ending up with some of these good tags, or and they don't even have to be the high point units. There is great hunting for 0 to 1 points, 2 points in different places, and so I'm just going to put my knowledge to work. I've got experience in nearly every Western state, but I want to continually expand that and grow that and learn more. And so I'm going to get more aggressive with my apps for this early season. So that's the first part, is make sure I end up with a good tag, and then make sure I plan my time around it, and then just be trained and be in the best shape of my life. With the trail running, I need to find that next level, that next gear, that next level of commitment. And I don't want to injure myself, don't get me wrong, but I want to put in just a bunch of miles and be disciplined, and day in, day out, getting my runs, getting my long runs on the weekends, and just making myself get out there and get to the mountains, and then just come into this muley season with these high goals, and have these bucks scouted in the early season, and then get in there and just hold to my guns, and stick to my goals, and be able to harvest one of these giant bucks. And it's getting tougher in today's day and age. It's there's a lot of guys doing it. When I first started hunting high country mule deer, there wasn't many guys out there. You had the mountains to yourself, and there is more and more pressure, but you can still get away from it. It's finding these little secrets to get away from the pressure. And I've talked about it before, like a lot of ridgelines where water's tough to get to. Guys can't survive up there. They can hike up there one day, but they can't pack, 8-10 pounds of water up there and try to live for 2-3 days, and then be willing to drop, 2,000 feet elevation to fill up all their water, and then climb 2,000 feet back up to their camp and be able to live in these spots where water's difficult. Because these mule deer, they don't need water every day. They get a lot of water from their feed. So they can live in these spots that are drier. So that's one way I get away from the pressure. Another way is to get away from the trails. Use these trails to get into the backcountry, and then start exploring off trail. Where horse guys can't get. You eliminate horse guys, and then it's got to be all backpacking guys, and get away from these trails. Find gnarly steep country. These muley bucks, they'll feed in these alpine basins, but they'll bed in this steep, rocky, gnarly country, places where other guys don't feel comfortable climbing down on top of them. And I do. Heights just don't bother me, and I know where my limits are, and I feel comfortable, and so I can hunt this steep, gnarly country, and then you can also get away from guys by putting more miles in, more backpacking miles, get further away. But there's always a way to get away from the pressure. Also, just hunting more effective, finding the master vantage points and living on those master vantage points, having the time, hunting during the week. I'm trying to think of other ways I get away from the pressure. But just try to figure it out, work really hard at it. A lot of it is while you're on that hunt is not getting discouraged, which again ties back to that mental toughness that, I want to be mentally tougher this year. And I have a lot of mental strength, and I can think back at tough hunts where I've been successful, where I've kept pushing, and the last day, day 9, day 10, extend my hunt for a couple days, day 11, day 12, I've been able to fill a tag. And so I can draw from that a lot of times, but I'm not going to allow weakness to creep in this year. I'm not going to settle for I'm not going to settle for a buck that isn't my goal buck. I'm going to keep pushing hard and keep looking and covering miles. But I'm gonna make myself so mentally strong where I can just keep pushing and just keep thinking and theorizing and how to be successful and if in the end, if I hunt for whatever my hunt is, 10 days, and I have this goal of a 200 plus inch buck, and I'm not able to achieve that, if I put everything into that hunt and I cover miles every day and I keep theorizing, I'm on the master vantage points and I'm doing everything the right way, I got nothing to feel bad about. That'll be a successful hunt for me. So I just want to reach another gear on my mental toughness, and I'm going to do that through my discipline, my trail running, and then through these tough hunts of pushing hard. So I really want to work on that. Embrace the suck. I just want to embrace the grind of these tough hunts. They come and go so quick. This early season mule deer hunt seems like you're on them and they're tough, and then they're done with, and you're over, and you got another 350 days to wait to look forward to it again. And so I'm just gonna make sure I make the most of it this year. Really embrace the suck and push myself to my limits. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm gonna find that limit and push that boundary, and try to be successful. So really looking forward to the high country mule deer stuff. Man, is that fun! I love the backpacking nature of it. And as far as backpacking, I'm gonna make sure that I've got all my gear dialed. I'm so dialed on my backpacking system. I've just been doing it for so many years that it comes second nature to me. So that's one part of my game that I don't really have to worry about. I know, for me, it's a minimalist mindset. It's every time I go on one of these hunts, emptying everything out of my pack, and what can I lose? What can I go lighter with? And so for me, as far as weights and backpacking, when I do these extreme hunts, lighter's always better. But I try to shoot for, like, say on an extended 10-day hunt, I'm usually in between 40 and 45 pounds. And it's tough because it depends on how much water I have to pack. I usually start with about 32 or 64 ounces of water, and then I'll have a plan to pick up water somewhere along the way. And then, I might be heavier, upwards of 45 to 50 pounds by the time I have, a couple 3 days worth of water with me. But I usually try to shoot from 40 to 45, and definitely the 40 to 42 pounds is a pretty good weight for that 7 to 10 days. And that's including my spotting scope and my tripod. But that's what I try to shoot for. And then, if I can get it under 40, to get under 40, I have to make some sacrifices for the 7 to 10 day. Or I can get it to 38, 39, but I've got to go low water. As far as food, anytime I'm doing over 5 days, I like to bring my stove. But if I want to be under 40 pounds, I can go all dry foods, and then I don't have my stove, I don't have my gas, and so I'm able to go lighter. And I can get it to that 38, 39 pounds. And it's just like every pound makes a difference on the miles you put on the exertion it puts on you. It makes such a difference climbing those mountains. I always say, elevation is the equalizer, but also weight on your back is the equalizer. You can do so many miles and be in such good shape, but the minute you start sticking a 50, 60 pound backpack on you, good luck. It wears you out. So I always try to go light. And then, I'd say for like a 5-dayer, I can get my pack around 35 pounds. 3-dayer, I can be around 30 pounds. And so those are the weights I try to shoot for. But it's just a minimalist mindset, just bringing as little as you can with still having everything you need and everything necessary to be comfortable and survive in the mountains. And then making the most of it. Be willing to move your camp and be willing to move your location, travel miles, whatever it takes to find big bucks and get into them. So pretty dialed on my backpacking system, and I think it's necessary especially for hunting the high country mule deer and then hunting elk too, and everything else that I go for. But really, that early season backpacking for mule deer is where it's at for me. So, gonna try to put a lot of focus in that early season high country, and then I'd like to make a trip back to Alaska, like to make a trip back to Hawaii. I just want to fill my hunting season with adventure hunts, as many as I can do, and still be able to manage everything else in my life. So it's going to be a great season. I can't wait. I've already started putting in the research and figuring out what states I'm going to focus on and what units I want to try to draw. And then like I say, just getting a little bit more aggressive with my applications in these different states to make sure I end up with a high country mule deer tag. And then, there's so many facets that go into being a quality bow hunter. So that's the effort, the mental toughness, the research, the getting in these units, having those tags, it's all part of it. But, what it's going to come down to ultimately is making your shot, being really good inside that crunch zone. And experience is the best teacher. And I've stalked so many animals with my bow and been successful on a ton of animals with my bow, but I can always get better. And so, part of getting better this year is being a better shot with my bow. And so I need to work on that game too. I just can't sit back and worry about my trail running and my lifting and my diet and the tags I'm going to draw and not put any effort into my shooting. It would be foolish. Setting myself up for failure. I'm going to get close to one of these 200-inch bucks and fly one over his back. And so for me, I want to be the best shot I can possibly be. And so this is made for some tough decisions for me. And so being completely honest, which I always am on the podcast, and I've been shooting 2 bows the last couple seasons, and the reasons why is, for the filmed hunts through Eastmans, you have to shoot show sponsored stuff, which is a good thing. These companies stand behind Eastmans and Eastman's Hunting Journal, and they're the reason why we're able to have this show, and it's what pays our bills and keeps us rolling. And so, I have no problem using them. But I've also, and so that's these Matthews bows. I've started shooting these for the filmed hunts and through Eastman's, and then on other hunts as well. But Matthews is starting to support the podcast now, and they support Eastman's, and I have to support the brands that support us. And plus, it's a great brand. They build a great bow. This new Tri-X is a shooter. I really like this bow, and I really like the brand of Matthews. But I've also, I've loved Hoyt for so many years, and Hoyt's been a great company to me, and I've been fortunate to be able to work with Hoyt and be able to get their bows. And so, I've just been honest with them and tell them that I've got a couple shows that I'm doing for Eastman's, and I'm going to shoot Matthews for these and shoot Hoyt for the other ones. But what this has done is I've got to shoot and keep sharp with 2 different bows throughout the season. And I mean, they're all building great bows, and Hoyt is a great company and build great bows. And I've been shooting them for so long, they just fit me really well. And so I've always loved them and loved shooting them. And then, with this Matthews deal and filming a few of these hunts, I've got a chance to shoot more of these Matthews and get comfortable and familiar with them. And so shooting 2 bows, if I'm being completely honest, I think it's hurt my shooting. Even though they're real similar, they're both great shooters, I have to get used to shooting 2 bows for the entire season and being able to switch back and forth from bows and arrows and on one hand it makes me really familiar and comfortable with being able to switch equipment out, but on the other hand, being used to shooting 2 bows, I think it's hurt me a little bit. I think if I could have one bow in one brand that I shoot exclusively, and then have a backup bow, of course, that I shoot, that I could switch from, if a bow breaks down or something, it just makes it easier for me if I'm on a hunt and I cut a string or I something goes wrong with a bow, instead of taking a full day to break down that bow with a bow press, fix it, re-sight it back in, I've got this backup bow that's already a shooter that I've been practicing with year round. And so I will have a backup bow ready, but I want to put my effort into one bow. And so Matthews has stepped up, like I say, with the podcast and the filming and supporting Eastmans and supporting me. And plus I just love the bows. I think I'm going to be better if I can just put all my effort and all my concentration and all my focus in one bow instead of trying to shoot a couple throughout the season, or a couple different brands throughout the season. So, and like I say, nothing against any of these bow companies, and they're all top of the heap, and they all build great bows, and it's this. It's just one of these deals where you got to make a decision and go with it. And I'm going to be better with one bow, and I want to continually do these filmed hunts. And I get a bigger part at Eastman's, and Eastman's takes good care of me. And so, I want to take good care of these sponsors. And again, like I say, they're all building great bows nowadays, but I just want to put all my effort into one brand, one bow, and shoot that this season. So, that's a little long-winded, but that's one of the ways I'm going to improve my shooting this year. And then I just, I talk about shooting these leagues, and I'm going to shoot a league this year. I haven't even been yet. They're shooting on Fridays. I need to get up there. Part of the problem with the holidays, and then I coach little kids on Wednesday. I got both my girls shooting, and then I help all the other kids out. They do these 4-H shoots where it's they shoot at a Vegas target, but they shoot at 10 yards. And so trying to help the kids out and donate my time and help where I can. This is part of, I may not be a football expert or, whatever the case is, but archery's my thing, where I know how to improve, and I know, the basics, and not only the basics, I know, not that I know everything there is to know about bows, but, I've dedicated myself to it the last 20 years of learning everything I can learn, so I can help these kids, and help them with their conditioning, or help them with their form, and help them improve as shooters. And so it's been a fun deal for me. But anyway, so I donate my time on Wednesdays. I coach that, but I do need to get up and shoot leagues. Leagues are just fun. Paper leagues, 3D leagues. It's just putting that pressure on yourself that, shooting next to your buddy, it puts more pressure than shooting by yourself. It's just the way it is. And then shooting on a line with 10 shooters and shooters that may be better than you, it ups your game and ups that pressure on yourself, and executing a good shot under pressure. That's all good things that help you in crunch time when you're shooting at an animal. So going to be shooting leagues Friday nights, and might shoot it. There's a couple different bow shops up there in Bozeman, which is 60 miles away. So that's the other thing, is I have to drive 60 miles up, 60 miles back. And in wintertime conditions, I mean, the road has just been, it has been just snowy and icy and gnarly roads. And so that's been another reason. But those are excuses again. I got to get in, and I got to make sure that I'm getting in leagues. I got to make sure that I shoot best when I shoot a lot. So shooting every day, but also not just stepping out to the same distance and shooting. I need to challenge myself. I need to take more field trips out to shoot angles. And, I do this a time or two a season, but I can do it more. I can get better. I can, it's like anything in life. You can get better if you just apply yourself and put focus into it. And so need to take more field trips, shooting angles, and make sure I'm shooting every day, make sure I'm shooting these leagues, fit in a couple tournaments. And, I don't put all my effort into tournaments because I feel like I want to save my time for hunting. I want to put all my effort into hunting. And so if I start shooting these tournaments or the circuit, or, all of a sudden I'm starting to burn vacation time and gas money to go on these things. And so, I don't shoot a ton of them, but I need to shoot at least a couple of them. I like shooting the big sky. I wouldn't mind going down to Snowbird this year, picking maybe another 3D shoot. And I'm not going to win it all, or, I'm basically just going there to challenge myself, shoot with a group of guys or group of buddies, put more pressure on myself to make some of these difficult shots. So definitely going to focus on that, focus on my practice. And then, for me, it's just, execution on these animals. And, made a lot of good shots this year. It's been a good season, but, I think I'm going to I'm going to try to get 10 yards closer next season, and whatever that shot is. Like, closer is always better, but I'm just going to try to be sneakier and more patient, really waiting on my shot. And you have to take that opportunity when it presents itself, but I'm not going to force any arrows this year. I'm really going to sit back and wait till I get that perfect angle on that animal and the perfect time to draw, and then really draw back. And I want to put a lot of focus into my execution on animals this year. I want to, for me, it's keeping calm, it's letting my pin settle in, and going through this whole mental checklist. And I've shot at enough animals and make some good shots, but I really want to pick the spot this year and just all perfect shots. Perfect double lung pass through, or whatever the case is. But I just I really want to focus on only loosing good arrows this season. And so all this practice goes into my skill set, and then also proofing my bow before the hunts. Anywhere I'm going to go hunt, I proof my bow. It just seems like strings can stretch and move, and all of a sudden you're a yard off when you get to your hunt. Maybe it's the elevation, the temperature. There's so many different factors that go into it, but proof my bow before every hunt and just walk around with an immense amount of confidence and knowing that I can put that arrow exactly where I want it when I get the chance, and then doing so and executing, all perfect shots this season. And anything can, animals can jump your string, they can move, but I'm just going to do everything on my end to make sure I'm the best shot I've ever been, I'm in the best shape I've ever been, and then have my mind in the right space when I'm on these hunts. And so really going to focus on my execution on animals, and not just putting one through the vitals, but putting it through the exact center of the vitals where I'm aiming. And for me, I shoot this thumb release, works really good for me, and everybody has a different way they like to shoot, but I love this back tension style of shooting where you sit and aim and you let your pin settle and you keep pulling and pulling and let that shot break. For me, when my shots are less than perfect, or my shots aren't as precise, it's when I'm choosing that shot to go, where my pin settles and I go now, and I make that release go. And even with a thumb release, it's tough. Excuse me, you get that pin on that animal and you want to make that shot go, but if I can just wait a couple seconds and let that shot break, I put way more of a precise shot on the animals I'm shooting at. And so I'm just going to focus on my mental steps as I'm shooting on these animals, and I'm going to keep myself calm, and I'm going to really pick that spot. And even when they're close, I'm going to keep pulling and pulling as I'm just settling that pin, 3-4 inches behind the shoulder, middle of the body, and let that shot break. So I'm really going to focus on my execution, my patience in that crunch zone, and then also on my stalks. It's just this slow, precise, methodical stalk. I'm not going to try not to make any big mistakes, and I know I will. Like, every year you make some mistakes. You go too far over the hill, or you get there and the animals move. But really going to try hard on my part to be these slow, methodical, thought-out stalks where I really take my time, and then once I get in close, I'm really going to let that buck make that last move, and I'm going to wait till I see that right angle. I'm not going to try to force anything in. Going to wait for that good shot that I want, and then I'm going to execute my shot and put a perfect shot on that thing, and going to be a done deal. So, like I say, just so many facets that go into this bow hunting and improving your skill set. But that executing on animals is a big one for me. It's gonna be exciting. 2018. I'm in the last couple days of 2018. By the time this comes out, we will be into 2018, and I just can't wait to put the hard work in and the discipline, and just try to sharpen my skills, sharpen myself mentally, physically, my shooting, my stalking, just every facet that goes into being a quality backcountry hunter. Just gonna try to apply myself to the nth degree, 100%, and so I'm excited. I'm excited. I got a bunch of passion coming into this season, and just ready to challenge myself and get on some of these adventure hunts and do the absolute best I can, push my limits. So it is about putting in the work on these hunts, and any of the hard work you put in, it seems like it comes back to you. It. How do I put this? Like the hard work, it doesn't pay off every day of your backcountry hunt, but it will be a factor at some point. Mentally you will be tested, and that mental toughness will come through for you. Physically you will be tested at some point. And I like to, when I'm on these hunts, I like to hold myself, I'm in such good shape because of my training and mental toughness, but I like to keep myself inside that 10, 12 miles a day. And if I do that, my body is so used to that effort because I do it every day in my trail running and my elevation, that my body can handle that, and I don't get sore, tired, or run down. Like that's, I'm not running a red line when I'm running that. And so, if I can run in that range, 6 to 12 miles a day, I keep under that red line, and it seems like I'm able to keep sharper. But there will come a point this season where I'm going to see a buck a long ways off, where I'm going to go, well, here's my chance. It's all in right now and go for it, and I will be worn down the next day, and I've got to get myself up, and I've got to keep myself sharp and keep myself going on this hunt. But I really do good when I can keep in that 6 to 12 miles a day, and then just pick and choose that point where I'm going to reach that limit. Whether it's hopefully it's a pack out of a giant buck, and then, it's all, I can be all smiles packing that thing out and hit my red line. And then the next day, it doesn't matter. Maybe I've got to go back in and get another load, but, I've been successful on the hunt. It doesn't matter at that point. Or I'll find a red line where I see a buck a long ways off across the canyon, and he's going to be the buck I want, a 200-inch buck. And for that day, I may have to leave my camp, and I may have to do 15, 20 miles that day. I may have to push an extreme heat. I may hit that red line and go over it. And just, the next day, I know I'm going to have to get myself up. I can't let myself get mentally down on these hunts. I've got to keep positive, and I've got to keep pushing forward. So I'm just preparing myself for that and all the challenges I'm going to face this season. Just so exciting. New year in front of us, and it's just, right now is the time to put in the work and improve at our skills, shooting, physical fitness, mental toughness. If we work on all these now, when we get to September, it's going to be time to rock and roll. There's going to be nothing that can stop us. And you're just also trying to narrow that gap with those animals. I always think of elk they always like to go uphill, and they're built for the mountains. They walk uphill forever. And I just I run with my dog, that little pup of mine. He's 8 months old, Gunny. Such a great running partner. That dog naturally is in better shape than I am. I mean, it hasn't ran a day in its life, other than playing around and then the runs with me. But already he just, like, we go on a 5-mile run, he does 10 miles, and he can run back, and then, he'll run out a little bit, and he never gets too far. And then he'll just play with me, and he'll run back fast at me and turn around and do circles. And he is just in such good shape. He's in better shape than I can be in, but I want to narrow that gap. I want to just keep running and just be in the best physical shape I can, and just built for endurance and built for the mountains. And, when you're in that type of shape too, it gives you an immense amount of confidence, and it just, it helps everything, all along the way. So going to be a really fun season, guys. Can't wait. 2018. So I know you guys are out working hard. I just love this community of the podcast, and I sure appreciate being able to get on here and being able to use this like a therapy session for me, what I need to improve on and where I can get better. And I just never want to lose that edge, and I never want to lose that drive. And the minute I start sitting back and resting on the skills I already have, or just going, I know how to be successful. I've killed a lot of bucks. I'm just going to do it again next year. And, I just want to drive to be better, and that drive to be better, it just it gives me passion in my life. It's what I love to do. So I'm going to be working hard this season. I'll leave in a couple days on this Coos deer hunt. We're going to do some of those live updates, so make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. and just gonna go down and have some fun and get after it, and then start getting with my 2018 training, and hopefully I can get a hold of the sugar monster, or I can get rid of the sugar monster at night. That's a big part of improving myself with my diet, and then just keep getting these workouts and keep putting in the work. So that's the podcast, you guys. Thanks a bunch for tuning in. We'll check in with you here when I get back, and hopefully with a big coup steer I put down. So keep working hard towards your goals, you guys. The hard work pays off, and keep enjoying life to the fullest. Whatever it is that makes you happy and your passion, and just keep going hard and improving yourself. So thanks a bunch, guys. We'll talk to you soon. All right, that's a wrap. Solo episode in the books. Really therapeutic for me to sit down and kind of talk over goals and ambitions, and really look at my hunting objectively and see where I can improve. And so those are my goals for the year. That's how I'm going to accomplish them, with hard work, with discipline, and planning and preparation, and just going to have some great adventures in 2018. In fact, I've already started. I'm just getting back from this Arizona hunt, and I came up short. I wasn't able to harvest a Coues deer, but I got a really good podcast describing it that I'm going to record with my buddy Dan and sit down with him. But what an epic adventure. Those Coues are tough, and especially those big mature ones. And gosh, I missed the rut a little bit, but we still turned up some good bucks. It took us a little bit to get in our groove, but the last 3 days were just action-packed with stalks and plays and chances, and I was able to harvest a javelina down there. I've never harvested one of those, so that was pretty neat. And just an absolute great trip. It just really able to reset my entire life when I go on those adventures. Come home and really focus on family and work responsibilities, this podcast, and really focus on my training, and just makes me realize how fortunate I am to be able to go on these things and take this time off and have the support from my family. So it's just really neat for me. I'm just feeling great about things. Can't wait for the 2018 season. So a little bit of a lull here before bear season, but I can't wait to start putting in the work here and getting ready and planning hunts, and see which states want to give me tags this year. So it's a fun process. I just love this Western hunting. It is so much fun. It's so engaging and so thrilling for me, and I think about it all the time and have so much passion for it. And again, I am just so fortunate that I'm able to do what I love for a lot of days a year. So pretty cool. Sponsor for today's show, Taito Knives. They're a replaceable blade knife. They're single steel construction, ultra lightweight. These things are awesome knives, guys. I've been using them for a couple years. They wrap them in 550 cord. They come in bright colors, bright green and bright orange, so you don't leave them on the ground where you're doing your processing or forget them. So that's really nice. I like the grip on them with that 550 cord. Seems to grip really well, and they've just changed the game for me. So make sure to check them out. They're a great company with a great guy running it at Taito Knives. And with that, Eastmans, I think the couple of the guys are out at the ATA show. I talked to Brandon today. I missed out on the show, but it didn't hurt my feelings too bad as I was bow hunting. But I do want to go to more of these shows and be able to see new products. And I've always wanted to go to the ATA. So it didn't come together this year, but hopefully next year get over there and go check it out. And let's see, what else is going on over at Eastman's. Make sure to check out Guy Eastman has his 5 top Wyoming elk picks, and they're all under the they're not historically good spots, or maybe they are, but he goes off currently good spots, and I know he really thinks long and hard and studies up to pick the 5 best units for elk. So I know I'm excited to check it out. It should come out the next day or two, and you can find it on Eastman's Hunting Journals, or you may see it come across your feed on Facebook or Instagram, but Guy does a great job with that. I can't wait to read that. And Gosh, I think that's it. I got another one planned with Brandon Mason of Eastmans. We're going to put together a podcast here. We didn't get a chance to do it when I was over at the Eastmans office. He was just recovering from a cold. So going to get together with him and record, and some other good guests coming up, and just keep pumping out good content, trying to get better at this game. So it's pretty fun. Such a cool platform. I'm so glad I was able to start this deal, and so glad that you guys enjoy listening to it. So as always, thanks a bunch for all the support, you guys. Just built this great community of hardcore hunters that support each other in all their endeavors, and I try to support you guys as I see it come across my feed with a good animal or any of the projects that you guys are working on. So keep up the good work. Let's support each other. And with that, that's an episode. Check in with you guys next week.